Good evening and welcome to Primetime Sports. Hey, I'm your host, Scott Alexander. I want to wish you all a very happy holiday, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, of course, and I hope everybody's stockings are full. This is my daughter. She's always good, so this thing's full on Christmas morning, but I hope everybody has a great Christmas holiday and, of course, New Year as well. But, hey, first, we have a great show. So good that I'm not even going to waste time talking about it in the open. I've got new Tulane head coach John Summerall. He just got the job. He's on this show today. I cannot wait. His energy is incredible. Frank Duffy, he's going to tell us all about the Pelicans and Saints, LSU, and, oh, by the way, Delvin Breaux. You remember him? The Saints MVP in his first year back in 2015. That's all next on Primetime Sports.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
Hey, welcome back to Primetime Sports, and this is going to be a great Christmas special show. I cannot wait. You saw the props out there. We got the stocking, so you better not be naughty. You don't want any coal in that stocking. You want those good fun stocking stuffers. But I got one for you right here. This is the perfect one. My man, Delvin Breaux. I'm going to take you back to January 2016, my very first show. You know, my second show was Ricky Jackson, Deuce McAllister, head coach Dale Brown, LSU, legendary. My first show, though, this guy right here. Delvin Breaux had just come off of the Saints MVP, defensive MVP season. In his first year with the Saints, you see Jabari Greer to the right. That guy just got inducted to the Saints Hall of Fame last week. E.T., the great trumpet player, he just lost 130 pounds since that picture. He was just on a few weeks ago playing the trumpet. And, of course, Derek Smoker in the back, one of the legendary drummers in town, and Lions yelling. That's my first show, and here he is again. He came on again in 2019 after he had to retire for the first time because of injuries. There he is right there. You see Coach John Brady from LSU, and we had some other guys. That's Chris Blair, the voice of the Tigers as well. But, Delvin, welcome back. Third time. It's been 4 years, my man.
Oh my God. Yes,
how you been, brother?
Thank you so much.
Everything good?
Wonderful,
I want to pull this book up real quick. This is a book that came out 3 years ago, and I've been delving into it, no pun intended, but it's called Unbroken, okay? Obviously, it's his name. This guy, the story, if you don't know, and I'm going to go ahead and prop this up for when we do the Y shot. Mm-hmm. The story is one of the most incredible ones I know. And when I first heard about you, I've been gone for 30 years. And I had called the high school game of the week on TV with Marlon Favorite, LSU guy, right?
Yeah.
And so, in February of 2015, mm-hmm. He had said, hey, Delvin Breaux, this guy is coming in. I said, well, who's he? He said, well, he didn't play football for 6 years, but the Saints just signed him. And I'm like, and I was working with Scout.com too. I was hustling side hustles all over the world. I was like, okay, well, tell me more. He goes, I said, well, he's not going to make the team. He's the ninth cornerback. I'm looking at the roster. But it'll be a nice story until he gets cut. And Marlon looked at me, starter on the national championship team, so he's got some clout, right? Knew you in high school. He goes, no, he's going to make the team, and he's going to start. And I said, I had to do a drug test. I said, no, it's not happening. There's no way. Not only did you start, you became the Saints defensive MVP in that first year. And I'm going to say this. You had a broken neck, which kept you out from 2006 to 12. You went and played for a team called the Louisiana. There's a scar in the back. If you look there, that scar on the neck's up here. He's got another one all down his throat. Yeah. I mean, all across his neck, and it's unbelievable. But he sat out for 6 years, played semi-pro. Then you went to the CFL, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, mm-hmm. and they call it All-Star, not All-Pro up there. All-Star 2 years, and you came down. And then I saw you at training camp, and I'll never, ever forget this. I was with Bobby Hebert, and I can't remember somebody else that used to play. Maybe it was Deuce. And we're looking, I said, who is this cat? I mean, like, physical, strong, fast, and you just, the eye test was immediate, and then we're like, he's making plays too, and the rest is history. Mm-hmm. So, welcome back.
Yes, sir, man.
I'm opening that up, man. So,
yes,
I'm going to say this.
Thank you.
What, your life, and I want to get to the stories because there's so much here, but when you got that first time you stepped in to play in a Saints uniform. And this preseason was great enough, but now you're in the regular season. Just take us there and take us what you went through. It's your hometown, man. You're a Ron Eagle from McDonough 35. You went to LSU, didn't even play a down of college football because of your neck. And then you're starting for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, man, that was, well, first of all, appreciate you.
Yeah.
That's a great intro, man. Yeah, man, I want to say it was my first game was playing against Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
During the week. I was a little nervous because I was, I'm about to play my first NFL real football game, and I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect, but I had my guys Tyrann Mathieu and Patrick Peterson was playing for Arizona on the other side.
Two Tigers on the other side, right.
I'm like, okay, it ain't gonna be too bad, man. But coming out that tunnel in Arizona, man, it was like a dream come true for me. Like it was a dream come true. It was like, man, my moment has finally arrived, and it's time for me to show the world what I'm here for. After being out for 6 years, 7 years and not playing college football, it was like it's just time to go.
I was living in Atlanta, and I didn't know anything about the broken neck, but I got to say, I'm gonna go back to the Saints and the pros in a second. But LSU, you're sitting there. You were the best cornerback in the state, probably the South. And you can't play, and I knew you were. They honored the scholarship, right?
Yep.
I don't know if they kind of honored the whole way, but I know in the beginning. And I know you were going to practice. What was that like going through your head, knowing you couldn't play, but you were sitting there watching these guys that would have been your teammates?
Man, you know what? It was tough. It was a tough time. I want to say Mama Shelley. She was our trainer, Shelley at the time.
Mama Shelley.
Yeah. And I was crying in the corner. She came over. She was like, "What's going on, Delvin?" Like I'm like. I'm looking at Patrick Peterson and I'm looking at Morris Clay. I'm looking at those guys and I'm like, I belong out there. I'm like, I belong. Eric Reed. I'm like, I belong out there with those guys.
You named 3 first rounders, by the way.
Yeah, and
come on, man.
I'm like, there's no way I'm not supposed to be out there. And here I am. Y'all wanting me to coach and do. I'm like, that's not for me. And then I ended up leaving from the football ops, and I never looked back, man. I just started being a regular kid.
You went to be a kid. What's it like, though, when you played football your whole life, you played sports your whole life, and you've kind of had that, like, I hate to use taken away, but it was taken away. And it's just one play that it's a freak thing that can happen to anybody. I mean, it's hard not to be bitter. I mean, for the normal person, I don't know what you went through those years, but were there some dark periods in there?
Yeah, man. Yes, indeed. When you have football, when football is your life, football is your passion, football is everything to you, and it gets taken away, it just feel like the world is going down. It just feel like everything is going dark. I've had that. I've broken my neck. I tried to commit suicide at 9 years old. I tried to commit suicide in college during that time, just due to the trauma and abuse that happened in, my childhood. So I had a whole bunch of things that was going against me during that time. And it's like, man, you got to get through adversity. You know what I'm saying? I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. So to be able to be at LSU and them not clear me, it was just like another adversity stone in my life that I got to get over. It's a hurdle that I got to get over. This is a quote you gave about your kids. You're coaching at Booker T. Washington now, and I think that's great. You're teaching and coaching. You're making a difference in these kids' life, and that's what you say right here. We're on this planet to make a difference. Hey, whether it be now as a kid in high school or an adult, your purpose finds you don't find it. Absolutely. And I'm going to say this. I cried last night. I watched some of these podcasts, and I didn't even know the story. But when you were so open about, taking abuse, and you were open about how it happened, you had welts going to school at 9 years old, and I've never heard of a 9-year-old wanting to kill themselves, but I have felt some desperation times in my life. And I'm like, it hit me. I'm like, he's wide open now. And what got you to that space where you could completely, the broken neck's one thing, but mental stuff going on. There's so much in this world that people want to just hide and put away, but it's nothing negative. It's not. It was a stigma for some reason. But you come out here and you have that. This is going to open up other people to be able to talk, maybe get some therapy and stuff. Yeah, man. I want to say what allowed me to open up and be free is I forgave myself. Yeah. And I forgave the situation. I forgave my abuser. You know what I'm saying? And once I was able to forgive them and I forgave the situation, then I forgave myself, I was like, man, it's time to go. What could somebody do that's going to hurt me for me telling my story? 100%. You know what I'm saying? So ain't nobody can do nothing to me. It's my story. So let me tell my story. Nobody can do nothing to me that's going to harm me.
People are scared. I mean, the mental health stuff you're doing here, like the pictures there, the free camps that you're throwing, helping mental, supporting that. I mean, and tell me what that camp was like. Like you're doing coaching also, but do you talk to them about what you've been through and say, hey, it's okay? Man, absolutely. I let the kids know it's okay to not be okay. Right. We all have emotions. We're humans, man. We're humans at the end of the day. Right. So if you have emotions, you're going through your problems and your issue, it's okay.
You have to get through that. You're
Right
the
on.
only person that can make your day go better. You're the only person that can change your happiness. You're the only person that can change your thoughts. It's you.
You got to go. Okay, I'm telling y'all got to go to his Instagram, because I was scrolling through last night, and your follow throughs, is that what you call them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, he holds a thing up. He's got a thought of the day, and the first one, it hit me, and it's something about, I put it up there. Is this it? Yeah, you have to choose between the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. If you think about this comment as an athlete, as a performer, as anybody, a person on earth, that spoke volumes to me, and that's the first one I saw of yours. But you do this every day. I mean, there's stuff out there, and it's your inspiration, your spirit. People can see this right now in you. You got a spirit about you. Tell me where this came from, and let's talk about that first one, because that's powerful.
Yeah. Well, this idea just came up just through social media, and I always wanted to inspire people. If I can't get to you, I can get to millions online. So 100%. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead on and just start. I started with a white piece of paper at first. I was used to just write quotes on it. Then I upgraded to a board so everybody can see it clearly.
Yeah.
And you know, these messages just to get you through the day. You know what I'm saying?
If
nobody's giving you motivation, you can go look at Delvin Bro page, and there
I am now. So. Trust me, that's what I said last night. I said I am coming on, even the old ones I'm going to keep looking at, because I'm like, this is so true. I'm telling you, you're affecting a lot of people's lives. And we all know, okay, I want to kick back to the Saints, because that meteoric rise, I'm going to say this. You were talked about around the NFL a lot. I remember when I was scout.com, I brought your name up. Nobody knew who it was back when training camp started. And these people out in LA and New York, they're wanting the best story. I'm like, this is the best story. And like, well, he's probably going to get cut, like I said. And then all of a sudden it kept going. But that rise kept going on and on and on. The only time I got to bust you on one thing, I didn't bring this picture out this time, but my favorite play is when, you know, I think it was Tampa Bay, when the ball was going and you were looking this way. For the interception, the ball, you got caught in the lights and the ball went totally the other way. I was laughing my butt off because I had gotten to know you by that point. I'm like, but other than that one play, which I think is one of the funniest of all time, your rise was just so fast. And you got the Ed Block Courage Award, which usually that's reserved for dudes like Reggie White that have been in the league for 10 years.
Yeah.
Right, you got the Ed Block Courage Award, and that was a big NFL award. They give one for each team. Take me through that season, man. You talked about that first game, obviously, when you played against the Cardinals, but the whole way. You know, the whole way. I know the Saints were 500-ish.
Yeah.
There's the when you won the award for the club's winner. That's a big deal. When you get that, that's like the leader, the guy that's come through, the guy with courage. Yeah. Talk about all that in the season as well.
You know what, man? It was just going through that season was just something for me to prove to myself. You know, I made it to this point. Me making it to that point allowed a lot of people to really see that, oh, this guy can get through anything and still make it. But it was time for me to make it.
Look behind you real quick. Go back to the shot real quick before that guy. This is what I love about this show. Live shot. The guy walking behind Delvin. That guy, you just missed him. But the guy walking, he's carrying, this is like, he's got, it could be his life's possessions. He's got the thing. This is real life out here. This guy's walking on the Broad Street overpass, and he's got a garbage bag with probably everything he has, or potentially.
Yeah.
And this is life. I got the dome right here. I got OPP right here where you don't want to be. You want to be starting in the dome. And we got the old Falstaff sign. This is New Orleans, baby.
Yeah.
And this wraps up with back to your season, though, because I just thought that was funny. I was hoping we get that shot. But the bottom line is that whole year was magical.
Yeah, man, it was just inspiring, man. I had to dominate. I had to show the world. Week in and week out, man, I go to barbershops and people talking. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be that guy that's, you know, getting talked about. So you know what I say, man, look, let me just go out there and dominate. Let me go make every play. If I make every play, then everything is just going to be history. So that was just it for me, man. I wanted the kids who go through adversity, who's going through things, I wanted them to see when I make a play how happy I was, how excited I was. I wanted that to give them inspiration to know that they can make it. They could be in these same shoes one day. So I had to go make it. I had to go ball, man, every week.
And you were having fun too. Like you never taunted anybody, but you got up and made sure they knew it was incomplete when they recovered. And then the Dikembe Mutombo, the incomplete. There you go. That's one right there. Look at that's a stacked quarterback. You don't see quarterback with arms like that in the NFL. You don't. But here's the other thing, man. That whole year was just like, it was just fun to watch you play. But you always had the top receiver. That's when, like, not only did you make the team, not only did you make the active roster, not only were you starting, you were playing against Odell Beckham Jr., you were guarding him. Julio Jones, they had you on the #1 dude every week. you weren't supposed to make the team, man.
I know, man. Megatron, Kelvin Johnson. I was checking Golden Tate,
I had Kelvin.
Allen Robinson.
I knew Kelvin when he was in high school.
T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So I had, man, it's
fun
pretty
times.
Cool. That's pretty cool, man.
But you
Demarius Thomas, rest in peace to him.
And this is the
Demarius
physical
Thomas.
part. This was a physical corner.
Yeah,
this
man.
is a guy who could step up and play the run as well as any cornerback in the league. I remember saying this. This is a fact. When you came on the very first show, I called Detillier and I said, give me a list of who you think, because cornerback was the weakest position in history for the Saints. Now they've had Lattimore and obviously you. But it was so bad that we were calling Toy Cook, who was good, okay, like one of the greatest corner in our history until you and Jabari Greer came around, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but when I asked Detillier, I said, go back in history. And at this point, we've had Lattimore, so they probably put him one. But I said, rank where Delvin Breaux would be right now. He goes second. He goes behind a guy named Mike Witzel, who played in the 60s, but he only played for 3 years here. He's never been a pro. He just came with. And I said, second all time? He's only played 1 year?
1 year, 1 full year.
He said, you were second all time, man.
Yeah.
And that's respect, my man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
I mean, when you hear
appreciate
stuff like that.
Yeah. Man, you know I was dirt, but they had me a top 5 cornerback. My
In the
coverage
country.
rating, I was at, 43% coverage rating-wise, giving up passes. Man, I had a great year. I don't know why I didn't make it to the Pro Bowl that year.
Yeah.
But,
well, you were
it's all
undrafted. You were
good.
not just an undrafted. You were a guy who never played college, so they had to see more. And then take me through the pain of that next year, because you got hurt immediately, right? I think you had some was it ankle first, and you had a hamstring later or something.
I had broke my fibula against Oakland Raiders.
That was the second year or third year?
Second year, 2016. Right here, yep, Oakland Raiders,
That
right
was
this game.
16, so this is, okay, but 17 is when the stuff with Peyton came around, right?
Yeah, that was my fibula in training camp. I broke it again in 17.
I'm going to address this now, and I don't know if I should, but this is the biggest travesty to me, certainly in Saints history, because you were misdiagnosed. Let's be honest. And then Peyton, because he kind of said a comment. And I remember going on Twitter, and I probably got my Saints credential revoked for a while because I said, screw this. This needs to be said. Peyton's like, we got a guy that has a bruise playing corner. He don't want to play. I'm like, Delvin Breaux had a broken neck, and he came back. I don't think a bruise is going to keep him out. And sure enough, you had a broken fibula. And I remember thinking, these guys, and Peyton ended up, because of that, he ended up saying he forced the fire of those guys because he looked bad, right? Because it looked bad that he said that publicly, and you actually had a broken leg. And so he forced this guy to get fired, that guy on the right to get fired, because he realized he looked like a fool. So what's Delvin Breaux's mindset going through all this when you're watching this develop, knowing you can't play, knowing you would take the leg off and play if you could? But what were you thinking?
Man, it was just unbelievable.
Right.
I'm like, man, I'm the player. I'm telling you something wrong with me, man. And when they just not on the same page as the player, then that's where everything's.
And then it goes in the press, and it makes you look like a guy that's a diva. Right? I mean, that's what bothers me about this situation.
I don't understand it either, because I was practicing on a broken leg.
Right.
So how the hell I didn't understand the whole thing. They was worried about a bruised leg, but I'm practicing on a broken leg,
on a broken
man.
leg. And what did you think was happening with it? I mean, obviously, if you knew it's a harm, you listen to doctors. These are doctors. They should be like, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I think, so I'm out there. But you know it hurts. You know you probably shouldn't be doing it, but you're doing it. What's going through your head right then?
I mean, I just broke my leg in 2016.
Right.
You don't think I would know what the same pain? I know the feeling. I'm like, bro, it's the same. I know I broke my leg, but whenever they tell me it's a bone contusion, my warrior mentality is like, you know what? I gotta go practice. Shit, my teammates need me.
Right.
They say it's just a bone bruise, so I'm gonna go out there and practice. That's the mindset of a warrior.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love this. I love the passion here. I got to tell you, you became a star in Canada, and I don't want to leave them out because you have I know you have respect for the chance you got there. The people love you. Trust me, as you know, they love you up there. I remember I had a guy from Hamilton on the show, the radio show when I was ESPN, and asked him about you, and he talked in reverent tones about you, your quality of person, how much they worship there, and you've reciprocated that respect to them. Tell me about that whole experience with Canada.
Man, I love Canada, man. Canada was awesome. Hamilton is it's like a second home to me, man. I have my family out there that I've gotten closer with out there. I got my brothers and them who still stay out there. The organization's top tier, man. It just was love. it was love at first sight once I got off the plane, man. So
You're a hero.
I love it, man.
And you had your boy Eric Harris came down from Hamilton. All of a sudden, he's making the team, and he ends up starting for a minute, and he goes to the Raiders and starts. I mean, y'all had your little. And I remember putting something out there. I said, this guy is going to be just like Bro in a sense that nobody thinks he's going to make the team, and all of a sudden he's starting. And it just shows you the will inside. You can't keep. It doesn't matter where you're from. It just matters what you do. And that's just something I wrote to Scout.com, and I said, listen, Eric Harris and Delvin Breaux are unique individuals, and once you meet them as human beings, it'll tell you all you need to know. Here's what I want you to do. You have the floor. You can take as long as you want. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever you want. I want you to tell people what's going on in your world right now, what you're doing with the youth, you know, not only at Booker T. Washington, but the youth, and what you want to do these next few years. And let's talk about this book and try to get some people to buy it for Christmas.
Yeah, man. So I'm coaching at Booker T. I'm coaching and doing in-house sub over there at Booker T. Washington.
So how's the sub? You're one substitute teacher they'll respect, though. Most of the subs, we're gonna try to walk all over. And Delvin Breaux comes in. Okay. We got you.
It's awesome, man. The kids, they're gelling. It's awesome, man. They're getting to finally really understand who I am, who's teaching them, right? And once they know it's Delvin Breaux, the Saints, they go crazy. So it's awesome.
I just had a flashback. Will, throw that one with the backpack up again, because I just remembered something. Your first days of training camp, you used to wear a backpack like a kid.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
No, I was like, this kid, like, I remember the pros were out there like, who is this guy with now it's kind of become fashionable, but back then it really wasn't. And I'm like, and I see that backpack, and I just thought of that. I remember your first days, you were just like a kid with, your eyes wide open.
Man, just excited.
I mean, before let's go, Delvin Breaux Jr. I had him on, I think I have a picture of him when he was on the show. You were on the show in 19. He had to have been like, what, 1 or 2?
Yeah, I want to say 2.
He's holding my props. He's got the football, maybe the basketball right there. That little guy, I just saw some clips of him. This is only 4 years. I saw some clips of him running in there.
Bro, he's dominating.
Dominating! Yeah. Dude, I mean, I don't even take commission. I don't want any commission. I'll be his agent. I mean, I am certified with the NFL. I was with Pat Dye Jr. Hey, I got to give some gifts, man. You're going to be the first one to receive this. Coach Summerall's going to get one too. This is talking about great Christmas ideas. NOLA shirts right here. What I love about it, it's got the little NOLA thing right here, but it's got the fleur de lis, which is not, it's Saints, of course, but it's New Orleans. It's fleur de lis. But this is Task Performance. This is so soft. This is like a $98 shirt, and it's a golf shirt. It's phenomenal. I'm going to tell you, I think you're going to love that. We also give Task Performance. Been doing this for 10 years. My man Jason over who brings John Summerall has got one pretty much. You got a whole closet of them now. I've been giving him one each time, but he goes, that's Task. Let me take that out so you can see. This is nice. I got you a black one. I see you wearing black, so I know you look good in black. There you go. This is the softest shirt ever. And I'm gonna go ahead and give you a couple more things. We're gonna go.
Oh wow,
we're gonna go here and give you Mr. John's Steakhouse, Desi Vega. That's Desi Vega.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And then Archie Rodenkirk. Archie's the tall guy when you walk in. Get on him, his good side, because he's going to take care of you.
Archie,
that's Mr. John's. You know what? I'm just going to give you, because I don't think Coach is going to want the Chazelle shades. I'm just going to give you all these Chazelle shades. They're a little dirty in the bottom because my car got wet. I got to take my glass thing out too. But here, just take all this. Man, hey Evan, it's Delvin Breaux. Just let him have what he wants. So Chazelle shades right there on Maple. Take you'll be good. You'll be good. You'll get a meal out of that, and then hey dude, I love you, man. For real.
I appreciate
For real.
You.
I mean, you've been on my show now 3 times, but you've always, and then the radio show before that. I mean, you've been on a lot, but you just had the spirit about you, and I'm just glad to call you a friend.
Man, yes indeed, same here.
I'm glad we made it work out. Thanks, Shereen, for me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I appreciate it. Merry Christmas. The book, everybody, right here. Please.
Amazon.
You could go to Barnes and Noble. I mean, this is everywhere. Just Google Unbroken right there. Author Delvin Breaux. Look at this. We got an author sitting here.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy.
Man,
appreciate you. Thanks so much.
For sure.
All right. Thank you very much. Hey, Kate, we're not done yet. John Summerall, I can't wait. He's been patient waiting here. He is the former coach at Troy University. You know what they did? 23-4 over the last 2 years. Same record as Willie Fritz has had over the last 2 years. He's only 41 years old. And he's coming here, and he wants to be at an institution that's got high academic standards, and they are a team definitely on the rise. We know the Green Wave's done the last years, and the sky is the limit. I cannot wait. The guy's got a lot of enthusiasm, so do I. He's got a lot of enthusiasm, so do I. So we might be combustible when we get up here. Coming up next on Primetime Sports.
Rock and roll will never die. It's old rockin' bowl at the city lane. All night, let's bowl, let's rock and roll. Baby, do the rockin' bowl at Mid-City Lanes, the home of rockin' bowl.
Inspired by the culture and spirit of New Orleans, the contemporary abstract and figurative work of Tony Mose and the urban expressionist art and jewelry of Tracy Mose are now on display and available at Esom Art Galleries. Esom Art Galleries are artist-owned and are located in Uptown New Orleans on Magazine Street and on Royal Street in the heart of the French Quarter. Esom Art Galleries, inspiration from the soul of New Orleans.
Hey, welcome back to Primetime Sports. I told you this was going to be a fun show. We got it started with Delvin. We had some fun. We also got a little deep there, too. But I'm going to tell you right now, the Tulane Green Wave, that is a program on the rise. I'm talking about everybody around the country. You know I do games with Fox Sports every weekend. We do Pac-12, Big 12, Big 10. They're talking about Tulane, man. That they were that team until they lost to SMU. That would have been the second year in a row that they would have been the top-ranked Group of 5 team, which means if it was next year, they would have been in the playoffs 2 years in a row. What a great feat. But I'm going to tell you another team that could be right there, Troy. Let me tell you this, that's a little town, Alabama, and that team was 5-7 before my next guest was there. They went 12-2 and 11-2, exact records as Tulane did, and they were in the Sun Belt Conference, which, by the way, is very tough. And the coach sitting next to me, his name's John Summerall. He just got named as the Green Wave's new coach to replace his predecessor, Willie Fritz, who went on to Houston. But let me say this guy was the only guy listed as Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year finalist in the country, the only one in the last 2 years in 22 and 23, and his team, the only team besides Michigan that won their conference championship the last 2 seasons. And here he is right here on Primetime Sports. I can't be more grateful that you came this early.
Yeah.
Coach John Summerall, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Scott. I appreciate you having me. I might need you to walk around with me and just promote all the accolades we had at Troy and what's hopefully to come here at Tulane.
Oh, I got a whole treasure trove in here. I got more than that. But if you want to, that's what I do best. I can't promote myself.
You can come be my hype man.
I love your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I do. And that's obvious from the first press conference. You had some quotes that are memorable in that thing, and I just was like, where did this all begin for you?
Well, I knew at a young age I wanted football to be a part of my life forever. I loved the game. I enjoyed playing the game. I was an overachieving player. Somehow tricked some people into letting me play in the SEC.
University of Kentucky, right, yeah.
And so I knew I probably was not good enough to have a very long pro career or anything, but I was a student of the game my whole life and have been very passionate about the game of football. I love the relationship part of our game.
Yeah.
I love the competitive nature of our game. I love the hard work it takes to be your best at our game. And the people ask about your energy and your enthusiasm, and I tell people all the time, if you're not fired with enthusiasm, then you will get fired with enthusiasm. And so, to me, there's only one way to do life, and it's with great energy and great attitude.
Great attitude is it, man. I'm not saying, I thought about you yesterday. I'm driving around thinking about the show. That's when I start thinking, there's some stuff of you when you got the job. But Joe Flacco, of all people, said something, and what you said about made me think about it. He said something when he said, you know, he's back now with the Browns. He said, let me say, whoever was interviewing me, he said, let me tell you the greatest thing you miss when you leave, and the greatest thing I wish every person on earth could feel is being in a locker room when you win, and the camaraderie among these people you work so hard with. He goes, I'm not even working hard yet. I feel like an outsider, but he goes, it's nothing like, there's no feeling like it, you know. And the way your enthusiasm, I want you, since you've done a lot of this lately, you've only been a head coach for 27 games, you won 23 of them. What is that feeling like in that locker room when your purpose of getting together is accomplished?
Well, it's so rewarding. It takes a lot of work to achieve greatness in football. Our game is very challenging. Winning is not easy. It's hard.
It's hard, man.
And the young men that we've been fortunate to coach, and I'm excited about the young men that we're going to get to coach here at Tulane, they have put so much into the investment of their own individual development and then helping a team become its best at the same time.
Right.
And when you win, man, you got to enjoy those successes. You got to celebrate them.
Yeah.
And so the team model in our world, there's nothing else like it.
These are shots when you coached at Tulane.
Yeah.
10 years. You came in 12 under Curtis Johnson, right?
Yep. Yeah, I got hired December of 11, so I coached 12, 13, and 14 here.
Yeah, and then you're back. I mean, listen, I don't want to cut you off on your last thing, but they were showing these 2 shots, and I want people to know you were here. You were here, and you circle back to Kentucky, you circle back to Troy, and now you circle back to Tulane. You have a family, man. You have, look at this family. My producer's right on. Beautiful wife. You have 4 kids right there. What is the selling point to them saying, hey, you know, you're in a good situation at Troy. You're about to write your ticket anywhere you want to go. What made you want to come back to this city?
Yeah, you know, my wife and I are both from Huntsville, Alabama. So
great town, by the way.
A great town. In some regards, we were home, being in Troy.
Yeah.
But to return to the city of New Orleans meant so much to us. The opportunities for our family, our 4 young kids. This city is vibrant. The culture here is real, and we're excited about being a part of it.
That shot, go back to that, Will. That shot is the culture. You're in the middle of a jazz brass band.
Yeah, we had a second line.
Second line, and that's just like, look at you. This is New Orleans. I mean, you either have to embrace it, or you're gonna. If you love us, they're gonna love you back.
Yeah.
So you apparently loved us enough to come back. And your wife down? She's good?
Oh, she's more than down. Yeah, like I said, we had a blast here before. We have come back and returned and visited many times. We've got great friendships that were left from our previous time here.
Wow, okay.
And so at my press conference last Monday, I had a lot of friends that were there, that were present, that we haven't spoken to in a while.
Right.
But came back because that connection was real when we were here before with the people of this city and this area.
Let me say something. David Harris is the new AD, right? Now, this is his signature hire. I mean, come on. I do games on the West Coast. I saw Troy Dannon when he's at Washington. Now, I've known Troy since he got the job. He's been sitting in that chair you're in at least a dozen times over his time here. But he is known for these hires he's made, right? And that helped get him, obviously, this job there. My point is, David Harris thinks highly enough of you to make you his guy. Like, he had Tulane's at a point now where it's not like the graveyard of coaches anymore. Now they're, okay, these last 2 years have changed the perception. So he could have had his pick of the litter, and he chose you. And I want you to step out the bashful part and be honest with me. That's got to feel good, right?
Yeah, it feels great. The administration, David, and the rest of the staff that really walked through the process of me taking this job, at every turn, they confirmed that this was a great fit for me and my family. And they made it very clear once the process got going that I was the guy they wanted as long as it all made sense.
Yeah.
And so it was very cool to be a part of that and know, man, you're the guy we want. And we've picked you. We want you here.
That's got to be a great feeling, man.
And let's make this right.
Yeah.
And so for us, David and the staff, Courtney Gaucher, so many people that were involved, helped recruit us in some ways because we were in a great situation. We were in a place that we loved with a lot of ties and roots, but this was something really special that we could not say no to. And for them to make that selection and make it so clear to me and my family that we were wanted meant a lot.
That's awesome, man. Let me say this. I have to ask you the toughest question because you go into recruit. Isn't National Signing Day starting tomorrow?
It's tomorrow.
Okay,
yeah.
I used to produce a show called Countdown to Signing Day, and that was a big show for a while. But that's when Signing Day was the first Wednesday of February. Now you just got the job, and you have the responsibility to try to. I know you can't talk about individual recruits, but the responsibility to hold on to what Tulane's got, and then maybe convince some of the guys you're recruiting to come. So, what has this 2 weeks been like in that sense?
Not a lot of sleep.
Right.
On the phone a whole lot.
Yeah.
Planes, trains, automobiles to some degree.
Right on.
And just trying to connect and engage with, there's some young men who have been committed to Tulane.
Right.
And some of those young men may have been committed to Tulane and the previous staff to some degree.
Which is natural.
It's fair.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's really just trying to hurry up and get to know those young men as much as possible and see if this is the right fit for them still. Many of those guys I think are going to stay on board. There might be one or two that go a different route that they choose to go to. But really, it's been fun to get to those families and those young men that have been committed to Tulane.
But there's so many, and you have to know them. You have to not only get to know them, you got to get a relationship pretty fast. How does that work?
You do. First, you have to be authentic, genuine, and real with
100.
your approach.
100.
I think people can feel if you're not being who you are. I'm not smart enough to have more than one personality. So I am who I am. And so the day after I took the job, I FaceTimed with every kid that was on an official visit that weekend here, even though I wasn't here yet. I spent time with them on a FaceTime with their families.
FaceTime, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
I can see that. Right?
Yeah, and so just trying to help them understand, hey, Tulane's a great academic institution. I mean, world class, okay? football has got an upward trajectory right now at our place. That's going to continue. And we're going to put a staff in place, starting with myself, that's going to love and care about each young man in our program to develop them to be their best. And so it's about starting that relationship piece, because you really, when you can trust someone that they've got your best interest at heart, you'll do whatever it takes to give them what you need to do. And so for us, it's about transformational relationships, not transactional. You know, transactional relationship is what can I get you to do for me?
For you, right.
Transformational is what we're about. It's what can I do to help you achieve your goals and dreams.
I feel like I want to get my eligibility back, because I think I can kick at least. Hey, I got to ask you a question, because you motivate me just by talking to me. What is your, because you've been doing this 2 years, but you've been an assistant for a while. You've seen some great coaches do it, and you've had to, motivate your own, when you're a linebacker coach or whatever, you motivate. But now you got a whole team. What is your thing when you get in the locker room? What's your speech like? I mean, how do you motivate your team to go play a big game?
Yeah, we're consistent in our rhythms and routines. My messaging is always very clear and concise.
Right.
People that have been around our program the last couple of years will tell you, I will usually say something, a word, and our team will say something back. And so there's a picture of Kamani Vidal, the second leading rusher in all of college football.
By the way, I watched film of this cat.
He's a baller.
And you love him.
And there's my son right there, too, which is kind of fun at the bottom of the picture.
Very cool, very cool.
But I'll say something to our team like do, and everybody in the unison will respond with your job. Or I'll say something like be, and they in unison respond where your feet are. And so we do that a lot. Like there's certain things, our team where I've been, they can finish my sentences because our messaging is very consistent. We believe in what works, and it doesn't change. Like I tell our team all the time, it takes what it takes. And so they know, and our guys here will know, like what's coming, it's going to be the same, it's going to be consistent, and we believe in what we got, it's going to work.
This is a rare thing that you're like the second. I think I've done this show for 8 years now, and you and only the new LSU coach basketball, McMahon, were the only two guys I hadn't met before, or at least talked to on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now I feel like I'm getting to know you a bit, and you reminded me of one guy. Like it's hit me just all of a sudden, because I knew this guy when he was in high school, about to go to Georgia as a player, and I've known him when he coached at LSU and then Alabama, and now he's head coach at Georgia. Kirby Smart, the way he talks to you, and I've known him since high school, so he's not changed a bit.
Yeah.
You remind me, because he's authentic when what he says. He's going to let you know where you stand, but he's encouraging you. He'll pat you on the back if you need it. He's going to kick you in the butt if you need it. And I have a feeling you got that same thing in you, because when he's like, his speeches now have become somewhat legendary for guys still. But my point is, you see where I'm going with this? I mean, do you see any parallel?
Well, first off, I take that as a big-time compliment. A lot of respect to Kirby.
Yeah.
I've followed him closely in his career.
That's right.
And then his programs. I mean, what he's built at Georgia, but as a defensive coordinator at LSU and Alabama, and really have a lot of respect for how he's done things.
Yeah.
I'd say there's probably a lot of similarities to how we've run our program. I might have studied some things they do. I really like to study successful programs that achieve things at a high level and take things away from them that I might be able to implement in what we do.
When you go out recruiting, let's just say the next year's class, what's your take? I remember Willie's loved to say this, it's not a 4-year degree, it's a 40-year degree. And you take pride in that. You said it in your opening speech when you got introduced to the Greenway family in the media. What's your spiel with how you're going to try to recruit the player you want, and that has to be able to get into Tulane?
Right, well, like I said earlier, a world-class academic institution where you can achieve a degree that can set you up to do things well after football's done, okay? The opportunity to, I think, achieve some great things on the field. Our goal, and I have not shied away from this, is to play in the college football playoff. And when we do it, I don't know why you go to it and don't try to win it. And so that's a big part of what we're going to try to do. And then the third thing is, man, the city of New Orleans, like, what's not to love? You got a vibrant culture, man, a city that's on fire, that's passionate. You walk around in the city, and it just oozes like cool, vibrant, exciting stuff. And so for us, there's so many things that make sense for a young man that wants to be a part of something really special to come here to Tulane.
I'm going to say this, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the university. I'm excited for your team. It's going to be great, and I'm looking forward to it. We give gifts over here.
Yeah.
And I gave Delvin the rest of my Shades de la Shades, which is right on campus, by the way. It's on Maple. I'm going to give you some of those, and I know how to get in touch with you. But here, this is Mr. John's Steakhouse now. This is one of Desi Vega's restaurants.
I know Desi well.
Oh, then he won't mind if I give you 2. I gotta give, no, you need, because that's not going to go along. Take 2. Bring your wife. Desi, hey, he's the new coach of Tulane.
But Desi's heard from me. We're pretty close. From my last time here, I got to know Desi.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Desi and Archie.
Yeah.
Okay, Archie is the main dude, general manager at Mr. John's, and that's on St. Charles, in the Garden District. Check that out. Also, this is Billy Shell, man. My buddy, he said, man, I want you to give some of these shirts out. He's a huge Tulane guy, loves them. But this is NOLA shirts, and this is a great Christmas idea too. These are task shirts. Look at this. This is that soft. Feel that. That soft material. Oh my God.
That's big time.
I'm telling you. And then you go to NOLAshirts.com. And I'm saying you get a quick gift right here for your friends, family, whatever. I'm gonna tell you this: you're the recipient of this little.
I will be rocking
promo.
this. I'll be rocking this. I can promise.
And you told me you love Task Performance too. Here's another one, man.
Yep, Task is good stuff. You can't get anything that feels much better than that right there.
Dude. I mean, like I said, once I put that on, I don't put anything else on. And try the underwear too while you at it.
I need a couple clean shirts too. I haven't washed clothes in about a week. So,
Coach, it's great to see you, man. John Summerall. I'm fired up. I'm ready to play some semi-pro football. I'm ready to go. All right, hey, I want to thank everybody. Also, I have one more segment. Frank Duffy, he is the most interesting man in New Orleans and Atlanta. He lives both places. Wish I had that kind of capital, but the guy knows all of it. He's been to every LSU Saints event pretty much the last 30 years. He's coming up next to talk about both those teams and the New Orleans Pelicans right here on Primetime Sports. Hey, welcome back to Primetime Sports, and what an amazing show it's already been. How about Tulane's new head coach, John Summerall, who's fantastic, and of course, the one and only Delvin Breaux. What a story he had to tell. But let's move forward. We're going to talk, it's going to only get better because you know who we got next, my man Frank Duffy. But before that, if you haven't noticed, let's get that wide shot because it's Christmas, right? Look at all this. Well, it means you still got a few more days to shop. That's right. And you know there's no other place to go than Magazine Street. That's the best place to go. And we got some of our sponsors. That's one of our newer ones right there. Now, if you're looking for significant art, I'm talking about the good stuff by nationally and internationally renowned artists for the serious collector. That's Jillian Mack, and she's on the corner right there on Magazine and Austerlitz, which is right between Napoleon and Louisiana. And also, hey, we've talked about this before, Elysian is inside the store Sotra, and they design sophisticated clothing, shoes, and bags made from Turkish textiles and stuff. Very cool, funky, fun stuff to give your significant other. Men, get in there and shop a little bit. And women, how about this? You guys, you can shop for your man too. Interior designer Grace Kaner hand selects and curates every object for her store. You know what it's called. It's Sotra. Bedding is one of Sotra's specialties, but Grace offers finishing touches for your home and gifts that hard to please person in your life. You know, you probably got a husband or wife. A little hard to please, right? And right now, our holiday gift choices are sure to delight and inspire. And you know who else is going to delight and inspire? Is my next guest, Frank Duffy. That's right. Last year, he came on a few times, and now he's becoming a semi-regular. When he gets out of Atlanta and comes back here, he lives in the Batavia sometimes, and he lives in Atlanta sometimes, the best of both worlds. But he likes this world best. And here he is again, the Doctor of Love,
hey, brother.
Frank Duffy.
Great seeing you, my man.
Good to see you.
As always. Merry Christmas.
Good to see you. Merry Christmas. Next week, we're going to get together for a full show. We're going to talk about New Orleans characters.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and we got many to talk about.
Alex Gramuzas of the world, and of course, even the sports world, Buddy D, Ab Cloudy. Be sure, and then some.
Buddy Ronnie Lamar.
But we're going to talk about some of the players. Conrad Dobler. We're going to go deep into the 60s and 70s too. But right now we're going to talk about this 2023 version of the Saints. Yeah. Boy, you want to talk about Dow Jones up and down, right?
Don't be spreading dirt on their grave just yet, boys. We are in the playoffs. You know, we are one step away. We've got our own destiny in our hands, you know, being able to play Tampa and Atlanta to end out the year. We're in control of everything. And, you know, the team that's just above us is the Rams, and we're playing them next.
And we less than 48 hours.
That's right.
How about that? You got the Rams, which I think overall, the way they're playing is the toughest left. Yeah. You know, they're 7-7 just like the Saints, but they're playing better at the end of the season. The Saints had the benefit of a poor schedule. Now, here's what I want to throw at you that maybe not great news if you're talking about how the Saints might do, but breaking down the Saints season, it's weird. We knew the schedule was weak, but they've really only got one elite team that they played, and they lost, and it was a tight one.
Yeah.
Elite meaning they're 9-5 or better, not perennial elite, but Detroit Lions, right?
Yeah, and we got ourselves into such a hole to begin with,
Right.
but we came back. I like
And
the
that
way
game-
we finished.
And that game gave me hope because
Correct.
right after that, Frank, I said, hey, listen, y'all going to think I'm crazy. The Saints are going to win their next 5,
Yep.
and they're going to go 10. At worst, 4-1. They're like, oh, what? But let me forward this real quick. But here's the thing: they're 6-0 against teams they should beat, 5-9 or less.
Yep.
They beat the teams they're supposed to beat. But here's the problem: the next 3 teams are that middle of the pack group.
Correct.
All 3 of them, 7-7, 7-7, 6-8. Those teams that are between 6-8, 8-6, the Saints are only 1-6. And that's bothersome to me, but if you look at each game, they've been very close, Frank.
Well, I was in the Dome 2 days ago, and I saw what we did against the Giants. And other than the New England game, this was our best game.
Yeah.
And we had it on both sides of the ball. And look, our defense, what do they say, Scotty? Defenses win championships.
They certainly do.
I put our defense up against any team that's out there right now. And if we can get Derek Carr starting to play within himself, have some confidence, not be so wide on the throws, but you saw Alvin coming back, man. Alvin was driving those legs.
Yeah.
And look, our offense, I love our young wide receivers
Yes.
that are stepping up, taking Michael Thomas's place. So I think we've got a great shot with this. We go out to LA, play a competitive ball game. If we can come out with a win there, I've got my ticket already. I'm going to be in Tampa. I'm ready to go,
for you.
baby.
Good for
I
you,
got
Frank.
I got my Saints Tigers daily double. I got 2 back-to-back days.
Let me remind people about Frank. The reason we brought him on the first time was because he had gone to every one of the LSU Tigers 15-0 national championship games.
Yep.
Almost all the Saints, people forget the Saints were great that year too, 13-3. He went to almost all those
That's
games
right.
as well, home and road. So he's doing it again. This man puts his money where his mouth is, or his mouth where his money is, or whatever that phrase is. He does it.
It's expensive. I just know that.
And we had him on the, you were in front of your RV doing the thing during the NCAA College World Series. When you pulled LSU through, we had you before and after. We had you.
The last time I was on this show, I think I was legally still drunk from all those Rocco's shots.
That's a fact. And I was hurting for you. This man's a seasoned pro, and he tells you he's hurting after a thing. He was in Omaha for 2 full weeks. We had you literally 3 days or 4 days before the whole thing started.
I caught every Tiger pitch, baby. Every Tiger pitch.
That's crazy.
It was incredible. Every Tiger pitch and every shot purchased by our good buddies who were coming in.
Gordon McKernan,
Ty Graves, Gordon
right.
McKernan, they all came in.
But not Morris Bart.
Yeah, Morris didn't pony
Morris-
up. I watched him.
Morris doesn't like shots. Okay, let's just give him that. But one call, that's all. That's your only promotion for me.
That's right. And
All right,
he
I
will
love
be
you.
on our
Morris
show.
actually is a big fan of the show.
Yep.
I was told by people that work for him. We'll see one day.
That's
All
awesome.
right, we'll see how much of a big
Well,
fan
I
you
like
are.
our shot. I really do, man. I really do. I think the Saints have a great shot. And look, all you want to do in the NFL is get into the playoffs. You just want to be invited to the party. It's like a sweepstakes. And you know as well as I do, there's been many a team that's come and run the table that didn't have a great record
The
starting
New York
going in.
Football Giants,
That's right.
2007.
That's
They beat
exactly
the 18-0
right.
Patriots that year. But here's the drill here. The reason I said that the 5-0 was a possibility was because of the 2 first games, which they took care of
Yes,
business. They
which you have
outscored
to
them
do.
52-12, right? 28-6, 24-6.
Yep.
The second game gave you more confidence in the team.
Yes.
The first game, the score was not indicative of the game.
Yeah.
But here's what I wanted to ask you, Frank. You were in the Dome.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the replay of the game. I just scrolled through. I was traveling. So my point is this, is that Derek Carr looked like
Much better.
he looked like he's comfortable, is
Yes.
all I'm saying. Like, he's got the happy hand. Like, he stays in the pocket, waits till he holds the ball on. But this game, he stepped up in the pocket,
Yep.
and I'm watching him spray the ball around
Yep.
with confidence, and that's what I saw. Tell me what you saw
On
in the
the
Dome.
field, also, he waited for his receivers to get open. On the 2 touchdowns, he actually waited. I saw that, especially the tight end over the middle. And
Jawan Johnson, I
Yeah,
love that play, man.
Absolutely. I mean, it was, but he waited. And here's the best part: he's been playing better during the game. But I also saw something that was really important when he came off after we scored. But the field goal. Every one of that team that came off, he was there to greet them about halfway between the hash marks and the sideline, dapping every one of them. So that sight that you saw between him and Ruiz, this was a couple of weeks ago, you didn't really see that in this game, and that's what I'm really encouraged by. He's taken ownership of the team, I think.
I think
I think the
McCoy.
other play, it was
because
McCoy, yeah.
McCoy, one of my guy I worked with, Pat Dye, and
Correct.
Bill Johnson represents him, so that was a big deal because he had been talking about Carr the week before because he was
Correct.
in town. And then it came out that following game.
Well, it was an ugly look, right?
Yeah, it was
and you don't
ugly.
want that between your linemen because your linemen are your last defense. Those are the guys that run over when the defensive is standing over you and they brush them off. But I saw when they came out after the field goal, I saw Derek Carr go over and dap every one of them when they were coming off. And that's what a leader does.
He does.
And so apparently some behind-the-scenes discussions were done out there on airline.
Yeah.
And I think you might be starting to see the results of that.
Well, back to the comment about the momentum thing I was talking about, because you had the 2 weak teams, right? You had to win these, or
Yeah,
just, you might as well pack it
You're
up.
done. Yeah,
now
you're done.
you've done that. Now you're starting to get, all of a sudden you feel better about yourself.
Correct.
You're getting some healthy guys back, and you have a Thursday night game against a team kind of like yourself, 7-7.
Yep.
They're playing much better now than they have been. Their only loss was a game, I think it was Baltimore on the road.
Correct.
And Baltimore's
should-
been
and they
beating
should've won it.
everybody. You're right. They should have
Should've won the
went to
game.
overtime.
Yep.
But they're beating everybody by 30 or 40 at home, and the Rams almost had them. So this is not going to be easy. It's on the road.
Right. And McVay's a genius. I mean, he is such a good planner on offense. So our defense will be tested.
And also Aaron Donald's the best player in the league.
No doubt.
So he's
no doubt.
number 99. Hey, Saints fans, if you're just a casual fan, look for 99 because he will be in your grill. He's not just be in Derek Carr's grill. He's going to be in the TV in your grill as well.
He cost me cash in a Super Bowl ticket with my boy Joe Burrow back in Cincinnati a
remind
couple
me.
of years ago.
Don't remind
I was
me.
already cashing my ticket,
Yeah.
man. I was getting ready to go to Caesars and
We
cash.
both had 30-something to one. We had
Yeah, we
we had
did.
that future
Yeah, we
30-something
did.
to one. I'm like, Joe B, take it. All of a sudden,
Oh,
Donald
no.
comes out of nowhere.
Oh, no.
I believe he was offsides, but okay. We'll give it
I
to him.
agree, and I tell you what, your boy Jamar would have been wide open if he would have gotten sacked on that, but I digress.
Hey, by the way, I got to ask you because you're the funniest guy I know in a lot of ways. Tommy DeVito's agent.
Oh!
Hey, give me some. Look at this guy. I mean, it looks like he's out
Forget
of
about
a
it.
70s mobster movie.
It looks like he's right off the set of Rudy.
Yeah, right. What is this getup right here?
I don't know, but I texted somebody. I said, we need to get him over to Liuzza's for a nice stuffed artichoke.
Yeah, come on, baby, come on. What? I love you. I got it all for you, Cam.
I know one thing. All that getup is nice when you're winning.
Yeah.
But when you come into the Dome and the Saints have got you beat by the middle of the third quarter, you just look like a doofus.
Well, he did. I mean,
Or like Buddy D, our buddy said, you look like a squirrel.
All right. A squirrel. That's a little preview for next week's show, Buddy D. It's a squirrel. He looked like. No, but the funny thing is, SportsCenter was even like throwing his his looks like, putting his head in his hands like, what happened to my boy Tommy DeVito?
Now, wait, we haven't even talked about the Pels yet. We got to talk about the Pels.
Get into some Pels
You
right
know,
now.
because I'll tell you what a 5-game winning streak. And look, I drove in from Atlanta on Friday night.
It's 4 right now, 5 tonight because they get John Morant back, but go ahead.
Correct. On the drive-in, I listened to our boy Graff, our mutual friend Ty Graffinini,
Sure.
voice of the Pels,
Another
great
character,
guy.
yeah.
Another character will be on. But I listened to the show, and look, Brandon Ingram had a horrible game on Friday night.
Look at Zion,
But
man.
CJ stepped up. Zion stepped up. Valanciunas he went off. I mean, went crazy off. Points, rebounds. So I'm telling you, man, the Pels, here, get this. We're only a game and a half out of second place in the West.
I keep
Only
trying
a
to tell
game and a
people this
half.
because they're healthy. Hey,
That's right, yeah.
Hey, we've been saying this, but that caveat's been, but they have to be healthy. Well, I'm knocking on fake wood.
Well, look.
Hey, let's just hope this stays.
The Hornets were a tough game. We almost blew that lead, right? In fact, the third quarter was a tough quarter for us.
Yeah.
But we came back, we scored, we put it away. And you know what we did against the Spurs? Exactly what you got to do. Just like we were talking about the Saints against the Panthers
Bury
and the
'em.
Giants. You got to bury the teams that you should beat. And we did. We beat them like 35, something like that.
Right.
So I think the Pels are in a great spot. So you got 2 New Orleans teams that are actually a game away from making the playoffs for the Saints, and you got the Pels that are in great position, 7th, but could be 2nd.
Right, and let me say something about this. What also impresses me as much as anything, because they started to play better, getting guys back a little bit, and they got to the semifinal of that NBA play-in
sure
tournament, and then they got thoroughly embarrassed. Like they were winning that Lakers game in the semis, 30-29 at the end of the quarter. And I went out to have a bite to eat. I came back, I was like in shock because they're winning when I left.
Yeah.
I got a bite to eat. Into the third quarter, they're down over 40 then. They got outscored by 28 in the third quarter. I'm like, alone, that one quarter.
Yep.
And so, but they responded.
Yep.
Because the entire national media was watching that game.
Correct.
And Giannis got upset too by Indiana. But we got embarrassed. And so it was like, oh my God, when is Zion going to get in shape, blah, blah, blah. Now we came back and responded, and they're playing great basketball.
Boy, you are a basketball junkie just like I am, especially during NBA and the college ranks. And you know that teams get streaky. They not only get streaky in game,
right,
but they also get streaky in season. And it's what do you do? How do you bounce back from a game like the Lakers? I love what they've done. So again, we're going for 5 right now. I mean, you know, that's all you can do. You play the games that are in front of you. You play good defense, which they did against the Hornets. They totally shut down the Spurs. And look, if we get CJ lightening up from the outside, and if we can get Brandon to come back and start playing the ball that he's capable of, and if Zion, man, if Zion can fulfill his promise this year down the stretch, I think there's big things coming for the playoffs.
Well,
man.
I agree too. But by the way, last year, this time, it might have been a couple days later, I think it was December 23rd, the Pelicans were first in the West.
Yep.
People forget that. They were first in the West. I mean, that's how good they were playing. And you talked about streaky, you're right. In-game streaks, hey, no 20-point lead safe if you're the Pels and if you're playing against them. They're not. But the season streaks are important. And I'm going to tell you this. I'd rather be first later in the season and rolling when it matters because the season's an 82-game year. As you know,
it's a marathon.
It's a marathon. Hey, Frank, you know, I don't know if you saw that my earlier guest got these beautiful NOLA shirts at Billy Shell with NOLAshirts.com, the great task shirts with the NOLA logo. I'm going to give that to you next week. Coach Summerall got one. Delvin got one. I'm going to give you one next week. But today I'm going to give you a task shirt.
Oh, thank
Task
you, brother.
Performance. I think you had a couple of these.
I do, man. These are excellent. They're so comfortable. There's bamboo. It's outstanding.
It's soft, man. It's good. And also, you haven't had one of these yet because you've been going to Chez Delachais, right?
I have, yeah.
Well, we got something different for you today. We got Mr. John's Steakhouse.
Oh, man, awesome.
Right
My
there
boy
on the avenue. Desi Vega, Archie Rodenkirk. That's who you got to get in with.
Awesome.
Archie is the guy that makes the calls over there. He's the tall guy that said every time they're open, he's there. Charlie Brown behind the bar.
Awesome.
They'll take good care of you, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you. We'll talk about Billy next show.
Yeah,
but yeah, he
good.
does great things. And I want to thank, this is a special, I want to make sure everybody understands how much we love you and want you to have a great holiday, for real. Get there, enjoy your friends, your family, and understand what this holiday is all about. And it's a spirit of giving as well. And the reason we're celebrating it. Also, I want to thank my crew back here. I couldn't do it without them. They've been covering for me big time lately. I want to just truly give them a heartfelt thank you. Will Hill, my producer, amen. And Logan Graffia, Alex, Chacon. And then, of course, Danielle Wick. That's right, not John Wick, but Danielle. She's going to be bigger. And also, of course, Jim Dotson and my man, Ron Yeager. So I want to thank everyone here and have a very Merry Christmas. And we'll have you next week because we're going to have a special show you're not going to want to miss. It's going to be a lot of fun right here on Primetime Sports.
Saturdays at 2 p.m.
For more than 50 years, the award-winning Clarion Herald has been the authentic voice of the Catholic Church in the Archdiocese of New Orleans, providing information and inspiration for individuals and families, young and old. As the media landscape evolves daily, the Clarion Herald is finding new ways to reach its audience with the good news of Jesus Christ. Pick up the Clarion Herald at church this weekend or check us out on the web at clarionherald.org.
Hi, I'm Father Cedric Pizzania, the host of Live with Passion. It is such a joy and a privilege to be reaching out to the folks in the New Orleans area, as I have been for many years with my program, Live with Passion. My motto is touching lives and saving souls. I want you to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. I want you to be filled with the Holy Spirit. I want you to become the best that you can be, and I want to reach out beyond the walls of the church. I hope you'll tune into my program on Sundays and Mondays. Don't just live, live with passion.
We're local and educational. You're watching WLAE-TV, celebrating 40 years of New Orleans public television.
By the time I was 15, March of 41, I knew without a doubt what I wanted to do the rest of my life. Apparently word went out that LeCompte is no good anymore. He's learned about modern art. And no commissions came my way.
Rowan was an important artist. He dedicated his life to studying stained glass, and he brought a serious modernity to the stained glass world.
The year was 1650. Anthony LeCompte, a French Huguenot who fought against the French for King Charles I, came to Maryland and settled 800 acres of land near